Alrighty, we're here at your folks' residence. We have our crew up there going ahead and doing the decking. So they're working on setting those 4 posts, and now they're working on going ahead and getting everything ready for your actual flooring or decking on the 2nd floor to be done. So they'll start working on the rails here shortly as well. We're kind of walking in here. We have your 2 can lights above here for your porch space over here and light it. And then we have an outlet right here as well, kind of at the front porch. Walking up, we have our front door. And then coming in here is where we have our study space. So we have a ceiling fan pre-wired here. A couple outlets throughout as well. Closet space, so nice usable space for potentially a spare bedroom or working from home, whatever it might be. You kind of have some good options there. And then across the way is where we have our dining room. So instead of a ceiling fan pre-wire, we'll have more like a chandelier-esque light there. But honestly, a really cool room, just like good shape at the front of the house with this elevation. You kind of have a little bit more than just kind of like boxed up rooms and whatnot. So that makes it pretty unique in that sense. And here is what we call a shear wall. So this is basically OSB at each location basically takes on a little more of a structural value when we install it that way. A lot of people think it's because of hurricane winds, which probably helps, but it's really because we're on a seismic fault. Helps quite a bit for earthquakes and things of that nature as well. So just pointing that out. And again, you can see the outlets kind of going across here as well. And then here we have our little bathroom area, kind of going towards the end of the foyer. So here's where we have our PEX pipe, hot and cold lines, and then a sewer drain for your pedestal sink. And then we also have your toilet line right there. Cool thing about PEX piping, it's a lot better than copper. Holds up just the same when it comes to like different treatments like chlorine that's in our water and stuff like that. Not a lot of soldering and brazing, actually 0 at all. So really anyone can be a plumber as long as you can clamp, the adjustment there. And it's also flexible. So instead of having a lot more attachments, you actually just have the ability to make it flex, which is great. A lot less attachments means a lot less opportunities for leaks. And then here's kind of that space that can be turned into a drop zone or something like that here as well, which is always nice to have. And then here we kind of have the main area. So in our kitchen space, we have our refrigerator over here. We have the kind of cabinet space next to it as well. We have a pantry in this space, and then kind of running along the way, we have some additional cabinet space as well. We'll have our range. It's powered by gas. Right there you can see our gas line. And then we also have some can lights that roll along the island as well. And then we're set up for our pendants here as well. You can see that. They'll get pushed up into the drywall later on. When it comes time to trim out the pendants, we'll go ahead and actually cut in, pull that wire out, and be able to kind of get them centered right with the island, if that makes sense. So again, kind of having that is just a nice feature. Here we have our kitchen eating area. So you see the light right here. That'll go ahead if you would just set up at a table or something like that there. And then we have the Harry Potter bedroom as well. So a nice closet. That'll kind of give you the opportunity to kind of tuck some things away. If you're coming from a place that has basements, you don't have that. So this kind of is a nice minor substitute for it. And then coming over here is our great room space. So with you folks, you had selected kind of like the chase and whatnot, so you can kind of have everything set up down there, pull the wires up, mount your TV, and then you're able to go ahead and have your power source for it. And then if you're playing video games or hooking up the DVD player or however you roll, you can kind of pull those cables through there, pop it on TV. It's all behind the walls, so a lot more of a cleaner aesthetic when it comes to terms of, not having wires hanging around, stuff like that. So on top of that, we have a couple outlets you can see kind of all throughout. So definitely a significant amount when it comes to, having the lamps out, all that kind of stuff, which is nice. So, and on top of that, we do have our can lights in here, and then our ceiling fan pre-wire as well. So a lot of lighting in here, a lot of natural light with these windows as well. So it's gonna feel, I think, typically when they're finished, they always feel nice and open to me. Really nice floor plan, especially with this screen porch, because then you just have another way to kind of open up your living space, especially in those cooler months. Definitely not today. And again, use your screen porch space. So again, here is where we have our setup. You can mount your TV and have your power source and cable right there. And again, our ceiling fan pre-wire there as well. So then going upstairs, a couple things. We got our guys' tools that are working on that decking right now, but here's our master. So with our master, we do have our ceiling fan pre-wire here. And then we do have a decent amount of outlets throughout as well. Have that all set up. And then with our master bath, here's our stand-up shower right here. Double vanity space right here. Window in the bathroom is always nice. Linen closet for extra space for all your towels and things like that nature. And then we also have a kind of water closet, which gives you that privacy, that space to kind of close off the door as needed. And then we have our master closet area here, which is honestly a pretty big size depending on what you're used to. So if you're sharing it, you know, you have the ability to kind of run a few different ways. We'll give you some wire shelving that gets the job done for starts, and some people go ahead and do some different custom stuff later on. And then I apologize, it might get loud here, but just to kind of give you a sneak peek, we got your decking in here now. Our guy working hard at it, so it'll look good when it's all done. Pretty similar to what we got over there. So, good stuff. Coming over here, we have our laundry room space. So with this is where all your low voltage items will go. This is your tech hand box. So that's basically where you have all your cable for your different TV and data outlets all kind of plugged in at one spot. Here's where we have the high voltage. So, you know, your different breakers for killing power to where your ceiling fans are at when it's time to install them, things of that nature. You want to go ahead and have all that kind of nicely organized, which we'll do for you. And I'll walk through that again closer to closing time. And then we also have a monitor for your tankless water heater. Again, something we'll hit on closer to closing, but a good feature to have so you can kind of monitor your hot water. And then here we have your setup for your laundry. So your hot and cold water lines, your power for your washer, 220, so a little more power for your dryer, and then you have the vent itself that'll go ahead and get vented outside, so you don't have any of those, the humidity and whatnot from there kind of getting generated. And then over here we have our nice hallway that leads to our optional loft space. So with that, we have our TV and data kind of hooked up right here. A nice window that can't give you too much of a view right now, but once we get the window next couple weeks, it'll be cool to see your backyard. And then kind of pan around a little bit, kind of looking through at everything. You can see the back two bedrooms, which are pretty similar. Again, here, you walk in here, we got a couple outlets throughout, which is nice, as well as a decent sized closet, which certainly helps with guests or kiddos, all that kind of fun stuff. And here, similar deal, decent amount of outlets, both having ceiling fan pre-wires as well. And then one thing we're actually working on right now, you can see that this closet needs a shift about yay much to right here. And then that way we can go ahead and get this chase covered up and then basically hide that ductwork. So that's one thing we're working on right now, is just kind of taking this closet and bumping it this way so we can close that in, keep that closed in, and still have your lovely closet to use. So that's what we're working on right now. And then looking up here, you can see kind of all your ductwork neatly supported with straps, which help it just kind of not fall and stuff and lose flow, as well as just making sure that, you know, it's staying efficient, not too close to the top of the attic where it's the hottest. But you'll see a lot of lateral bracing as well, which is important, making sure that trusses are stabilized together. You don't have a lone truss that gets too crazy with hurricane winds and decides to crack. The more cohesive they are in that sense, the stronger they are. But since it's 100 degrees outside today, might as well talk a little about some features with our HVAC. Here you'll see a jumper duct. These tie in together here. Basically, they create airflow even when your door is shut. So if you have positive airflow moving in from like a register over here, make sure I'm pointing the right direction, or over there, you still have the ability to have negative airflow on this side of the door to pull the air and go towards your return, which is right here, also by your thermostat. So the more airflow you have by your thermostat going to your return, basically the more consistent of a reading it is, the more efficient it can be. So we put that in all your different bedrooms just to ensure that you have a very consistent reading, more efficient home. And, you know, when it's 100 degrees outside, definitely does not feel like that here. And then lastly, we have our guest bathroom area. So you have your single sink right here, you have your toilet, and then we have our tub right there filled with water, basically just to ensure that there's no cracks in the seal, so that we're able to go ahead, when it's your turn to take a bubble bath or whatever you like to do, you can do so without any leaks going to the first floor. So once our inspector gives us the okay, we can drain it and go from there. So that's kind of the gist of it. go ahead and let me know if there's any better, way for me to take a video or get a specific picture of this or that. Let me know, and I can certainly go ahead and do so. So thank you much for, one thing I forgot to point out was another TV location right here. I apologize. So in the master. So it's coming together very nicely, and super excited for y'all to be down here and see yourself. So yeah, I'll send this over and go from there.